AI avatars like Aitana Lopez have been blowing up on social media, and now you can build your own that earns money without ever showing your face or filming anything. And the best part is, you build it once, and from then on it can be used forever. So in this video, I'll build one from scratch, show you the 2 ways she actually makes money, and how to set it all up so that you can build one yourself. The tool I'm using for all of this is HeyGen, a platform dedicated to creating talking head content, from building the avatar to giving her a voice and dropping her into full videos without ever touching another tool. If you want to follow along, I've left a link to it in the description below. The first step is to actually build your avatar. So I'll open HeyGen and I'll head into avatars. We want a character we can reuse forever so she can appear in multiple videos, so I'll go with the full build instead. So it gives me 2 ways to make her: clone a real person or create a virtual character. You could make an avatar based on yourself if you want, but I want to show you the full process of making one from scratch, so I'll select create a virtual character. But keep in mind, if you choose to clone a real person, HeyGen needs proof of consent to build an avatar based on them, and a made-up character never runs into that. From there, I'll pick design with AI, which is where you build her from a written description instead of uploading any photos. First, it asks for the basics, so I'll set the name to Nora, the age to young adult, the gender to woman, and the ethnicity to white. Then the orientation to portrait, the pose to upper body, and the style to realistic. You can absolutely create avatars in different art styles, but the ones earning the most right now are the ones that look realistic. So with these settings, we're building towards that. Now, this next part is what actually decides how she looks, because the form already handles her age and her framing in its own fields, so the description box is only for her appearance and her outfit. And being specific here is very important, because vague words like calm or pretty just hand you a generic face. But the avatars that are trending look unique and stand out, so make sure that you add details here. I'll write this prompt for Nora. It describes her down to the specifics: fair skin with light freckles, dark blonde hair parted in the middle, green hazel eyes, and a plain oatmeal t-shirt are all elements that will make her feel like a real person instead of a stock model. And you can find this exact prompt along with the full workflow down in the description completely for free, so you can follow along in real time. There are 2 specific details in the prompt that are very important. I'm keeping her mouth closed and relaxed, because whatever expression she comes out with will become part of her permanent identity, and a half-open mouth would follow her into every single video. But a neutral expression is way easier for the AI to animate, and I'm keeping her hair off her jaw, because the jaw is the part the model has to animate later for accurate lip sync, so we don't want her hair getting in the way. Now that our settings are locked in, let's generate. We get back 4 options that look similar, because the prompt was so detailed, with the biggest differences being the background, the camera zoom, and her expression. And honestly, the one you pick matters just as much as the prompt you write, so I'll take this one, because it has the cleanest gray background and the most of her upper body in the shot, which will make it a lot easier for the AI to animate, without her looking unnatural. Now she has a face, but an AI avatar actually needs to speak, so the next step is to give her a voice. HeyGen has a whole library of voices, but every one of them is public, which means the same voice is in 100 other people's videos. Nora's whole value is being unique, so instead of selecting a pre-existing voice, I'll use design a voice to build one that is only hers. So I'll write this prompt, which asks for a warm, gentle, conversational voice. And that last part that specifies a friend talking to camera instead of a professional presenter is the piece that matters, because HeyGen's voices default to that corporate sound, and that is exactly what would ruin a casual and friendly avatar. It gives me 3 options back, and I'll go with voice 3, and every video Nora makes from here uses this exact voice. So now Nora actually exists. Her identity is locked in, and she has a voice that's unique to her. But right now, she's still just a portrait on a plain gray background, so let's see how she actually looks when she's brought to life. So first we need to do a step that most people skip, and it's the exact thing that decides whether she can actually be placed in real environments. Currently, Nora is just in a plain gray background, and the model that animates her, called Avatar 5, keeps her locked in whatever frame you give it. So if I were to animate her with this picture, she would be stuck with this background. So the background she's in isn't just decoration, it's the actual set for the scene, which means every place you want her to appear in, you have to build first. That's what the design a look step is for. So back on Nora, I'll click design with AI and make sure I'm in the design a look tab. Now HeyGen shows you a row of ready-made look packs, but they're all blazers and whiteboards. That same corporate default look again. So I'll skip those and use the free text box where I can describe any scene I want. And just like her avatar prompt, this depends on naming concrete details, the setting, the direction the light comes from, the outfit, and the framing. Because if you just describe her mood again, you get the same portrait back in a slightly different pose. So for her first look, I'll write this prompt, which basically asks to put her at a kitchen counter in the morning. It also describes the lighting, her outfit, and her framing. It gives me 3 options back, and they're all clearly the same person, just standing in 3 slightly different rooms, so the consistency carries over perfectly. I'll go with this one because it's the only option where the light actually has a direction, coming in from the window and falling across one side of her face. Now that the look is built, I'll turn it into an actual video with Quick Create. For the settings, I'll keep Nora with her kitchen look, set the model to Avatar 5, the voice to her voice 3, keep the resolution at 1080p, and switch to landscape. I'll also turn more expressive motion on, so she actually moves while she talks. Then comes the script, and if we want her to look realistic, we have to be careful with what she says. Because she's standing in a kitchen with a mug, I'll write her a line about coffee, and in the final video, she will be able to interact with the elements from the scene like the mug, so she'll actually be integrated in the shot. So once you've built a look, make sure to include actual props from the shot into your prompt so that everything comes together naturally. Then I'll generate,
"This is the last coffee I'll have today. Not because I'm quitting, because it's already noon. Caffeine has a half-life of about 6 hours, so half of this is still in me at 6 p.m., and a quarter of it at midnight."
And it comes back as one clean take. Both her face and voice hold up while her lip sync stays matched to every word. She's also using body language while she talks instead of being static, so it looks even more realistic. But there's one thing Avatar 5 simply can't do, because it only animates her inside the frame she's already in, so she can talk and gesture, but she can't move across the actual room. For that, HeyGen has a completely separate tool called Cinematic, and instead of animating a look you built, it takes her face as a reference and generates a whole new scene around her with real camera movement so she can fully move around in whatever scene you want. Now I'll open Cinematic, set Nora as the reference, the resolution to 1080p, and turn Enhance Prompt on. One thing to know is this one costs 150 credits, and it scales with the resolution and the length, so it's the more expensive option, which is exactly why you save it for the shots that genuinely need movement. Unlike before, you describe everything into the prompt, including the scene, the camera moves, the outfit, what she does, and even her dialogue, so the whole process is a lot more similar to an actual video generator. So I'll write a shot of her walking down a supermarket aisle at night, with the camera following behind her shoulder, then swinging around to face her while she speaks. The one thing to keep in mind is the dialogue has to stay short and plain, around 35 to 40 words, because she's walking and talking inside a single 15-second shot, so a longer line just won't fit. I'll generate and let it run.
These 2 bottles have the same thing inside, and one of them cost $40 while the other costs $9. You're paying for the box on the front, not for the sleep you get.
And she's actually walking through the scene, the camera moves right along with her, and she delivers the whole line as she goes. So from a single portrait on a gray background, I've now got Nora talking straight to camera in her own kitchen, and walking through a full scene in just a few minutes. And once you've made an avatar that can be placed anywhere and say anything you want, she's ready to actually start making you money. So let's get into the first way she does it. The first way to monetize this is by running a faceless channel, and this is where everything we've built so far really pays off, because she can post new content every single day without you ever filming or showing your face. And a channel like this actually earns in a few different ways. The biggest one early on is affiliate, where she recommends a product in her videos, and you get paid on every sale it brings in. And that one works from your very first upload with no follower count needed at all. Then there's ad revenue, which starts paying out once the channel hits the platform's requirements to switch it on. And once she's built up a real audience, brands start paying for sponsorships on top of all of that. Now, to actually run a channel and not just post the same thing over and over, you need a mix of videos, so I'll make 2 completely different videos on the same topic, a short and a longer explainer, both about sleep. I'll start with the short. I'll build her a brand new look the same way as before, this time sitting on the edge of a bed in a dim room at night with a warm lamp on the nightstand next to her. Out of the 3 options, I'll take the one where the lamp actually lights up her face, since the other two came back too dark to really use. Then I'll write her a short script about sleep, set it to vertical since it's going out as a short, and generate.
Your body starts making melatonin about 2 hours before you sleep. Then you turn on every light in the house and stare at a screen. It's not that you can't sleep, it's that you told your brain it's still afternoon.
And it comes back clean and ready to post as is. The whole look stays consistent throughout with accurate lip sync, and the whole video has a cozy vibe which matches the topic. Now the second video, the longer explainer, is the type of content you'd post on a proper channel. I'll give her another new look, this time at a desk in a bright room with a big window off to the side, so the lighting is completely different yet again. The design a look method costs way less credits than the cinematic, and since neither of these videos require her to move around, it's the best way to actually save money. And yet again, we see her in a totally different environment, so her facial identity really holds up no matter where you place her. This time, I'll write a much longer script, a full explainer on why people struggle to sleep, and set it to landscape for a normal YouTube video. And this is the bit that makes the long ones possible because script to video takes up to 5,000 characters, so Avatar 5 can hold her the whole way through a 75-second video in one single generation. That long-form ability is the whole reason this holds up as a real channel instead of just a few shorts, since ad revenue really only comes from longer videos, and shorts on their own will never get you there. So I'll generate and let it run.
Everyone talks about sleep like it starts when you get into bed. It doesn't. It starts about 6 hours earlier, and most of what goes wrong has already happened by then. Here's the part nobody tells you. Caffeine has a half-life of around 6 hours, so the coffee you had at 4 is still half in your system at 10, a quarter of it at 4 in the morning. You're not lying awake because you're stressed. You're lying awake because you're still caffeinated and you don't feel it anymore. Then there's light. Your body starts making melatonin roughly 2 hours before sleep, but only if it's dark. Bright overhead lights at 10 at night tell your brain it's still afternoon, so it waits. And you lie there wondering why you're tired but not sleepy. And temperature. Your core body temperature has to drop about 1 degree before you can fall asleep properly. A warm room stops that from happening. That's why you sleep better with the window open and no idea why. None of this needs a new mattress. Coffee before noon, lights down after 9, room colder than you think you want it. That's it. That's the whole thing.
And the whole explainer comes back as one continuous video, with her face and voice staying consistent from the first second to the last. So now Nora isn't making one-off videos anymore, she's running an actual faceless channel, a short and a long explainer on the same topic, all posted without you ever filming a thing. But posting content is only the first way she makes money, because there's a second way where people pay you directly, and it's what actually makes this a legitimate business. Once you can produce videos this good at scale, brands and small businesses will pay you to make ads for them. The way it works is simple. A client sends you their product, your avatar promotes it for them, and you basically create a finished ad for which they pay for. And the money here is really good. A normal human creator making these charges somewhere between $150 and $750 a video, and the top ones go up to around $2,000. You can come in just under that, around $75 for a simple demo, $150 for a scripted testimonial, and $200 to $400 for a fully produced ad, while it only costs you a few dollars in credits to actually make. And once a brand likes your work, you put them on a monthly retainer instead of one-off videos, which runs anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 a month for a set amount of content. Because at that point, what you're really selling is the idea, the script, and how fast you can actually produce it. But there's one thing you have to know before you start making money from this. On the free plan, HeyGen doesn't let you sell what you make or run it as an ad. It's written right into their terms. The commercial rights only start on the creator plan at $29 a month, so you need to be on that before you send your first invoice. So here's how you actually make one of these ads. The tool for it is HeyGen's product placement, which runs on a different model called Avatar 4, and it takes two things, an image of the client's product and a photo of your avatar, both at 720p or higher. To actually show you, I'll use this picture of a cream-colored mug as the product, and use Nora as the avatar. First, she needs the right look for it. So back in Design a Look, I'll put her on a sofa in a bright living room in a casual, oversized sweater, shot slightly from above, like a phone propped up on the table in front of her. That angle is the whole trick, because it makes it look like a real person filming at home instead of a studio setup. And HeyGen won't give you that look unless you specifically ask for it. That is the difference between an ad that looks like a real recommendation and one that instantly looks like an ad. Out of the options, I'll grab the most casual, natural-looking one and save it. Now I'll drop the product and her photo into the 2 upload slots and generate the combined images. It gives me 5 options, and I'll take the one where the crescent is clearly visible and she's holding the mug up toward the camera. With that ready, I'll generate the actual ad on Avatar 4. The default resolution is 720p, so make sure to bump it up to 1080p for professional use, and the voice field starts completely empty, so I'll set it back to her voice, since a random default voice would instantly give away that she's not real. Then for the script, I'll write it the way someone actually talks about something they like, in a plain and casual way. So I'll generate—
Okay, so this mug. I've had it about 3 months now, and I use it every single night, which is more than I can say for most things I buy. First thing you notice is the weight. It's heavier than you expect. And I know that sounds like a small thing, but it makes it feel like a real object instead of something disposable. It sits in your hands properly. The other thing is it holds heat, like properly holds it. I'll make tea, get distracted, come back 20 minutes later, and it's still warm. My old mug went cold in about 5 minutes, and I'd end up pouring half of it away every night. It's a big mug too, so I'm not getting up for a refill halfway through. And the handle actually fits my hand, which sounds obvious, but so many mugs have these tiny handles you can barely get 2 fingers through. Honestly, it's become the thing that tells me the day is over. Kettle goes on, this comes out, and that's the signal. That's it. That's the review.
And what comes back is a vertical ad of her holding the mug and talking about it, and it looks exactly like a real creator review that's ready to hand straight to a client. So that's the full picture. One avatar making you money in 2 completely different ways. The channel she runs herself and the ads real clients pay you for, and all without you needing to film a single shot. And the best part is once you master this workflow, you can create content at scale with multiple avatars and for different clients, so you can turn this into an actual business. So if you want to make your own AI avatar that makes content for you, click the link in the description to sign up for HeyGen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.